I was going to point out that realistically you could do this in one op, because this is exactly 90 degrees. We're on 45-degree angles there. So I really could, if it was set up right, we could come over here and drop the tool down and be able to side cut this and just use our vertical down feed there to cut this side, and it would be absolutely perfect in line with that. The problem is that I can't get over far enough to do that the way it's set up here. If I had maybe mounted this over here on this slot to where this one was a little bit closer to this side, I probably would have had enough room to be able to take our tool, got my tool holder right here, and be able to mount that, and we could use a side mounted tool to be able to get in there and cut it that way and just do it all in one op. But I just can't reach it. It's a little over too far, so I am going to have to rotate this thing to do that. But I wanted to point this out, that you could do this if you get everything set right. You could cut one side and then cut the other and get it all done in one op. But we'll go ahead and do our rotation, because we know we're indicated good and straight. We'll rotate it around, and I'll make sure that this is good too, and get it indicated in on a 45. We hit exactly, I mean, it is just lined up on the tick mark on 45. Okay, we got the indicator set up. Let's go ahead and tram across it and see. Looks like I'm still high. Just make little movements at a time till we get it well under a thousandths there. Use our fine adjust to bring it. Oh, I'm about out of it. I got to go the other way. There we go. Okay, we're getting pretty close right there. It looks like there's a low spot right in this, so I'm going to set this up in a different location, see if we can get away from that hole. I'll probably go out here to the middle a little further. All right, let's look at that area right there and see what we look like. Well, that is not bad. I think we are there. It's not even a thousandth. Let me see if I can get that thing to move just a touch. Re-zero it here on the fine adjust. Looking pretty good to me, right about there. All right, I'm gonna see if I can improve it a little bit more. Moved it a few tenths there on the indicator. There's a low spot in the middle of this, so we're moving down and then back up to each side. So it's a half a thou, 1 thou, and then back to 0 right there. So looks like we're well within a half a thousandth of being straight. All right, we got our indicator set up. So what I'm finding on this one is that you've got just a little bit of high spot right here in the very center, but on this end right here it drops off 4 thousandths from the center point. So once you get about right in here, it starts dropping off that way. This one's down about 1,000 or so on that end. You can see that we're right around the 0 mark there. As we come down here to the middle, right around the 0 mark, it's jumping just slightly. And then right there, it's going to start dropping off. So roughly just over 4 thousandths there. So about 4.5 thousandths from right around this area, it drops off. Just showing the variation, we're going to cut it right where it's at so that this side will be absolutely true with this side on our cut. I'm going to get our touch off now. Okay, just touching the middle right here. So it's touching these 2 port areas right across there. You see the 2 cut lines where we just touched it? we got a little bit of low right in here. And then we're not touching back here. Our first cut was a total of 4 thousandths, or 2 lines on the dial there. And I like starting off very light like that anyway, so that you can really see what's going on with the flatness of the part. So I can see on that end that it's just barely touching right there. And then we're not cutting back there, just like I showed on the indicator, where we drop down. All right, our second pass looks like we've got success with our full cleanup there. And I took the same amount on this side as I took on that. Once we did a touch off, I actually went a total of 4 graduations on the dial there, which is a total of 8 thousandths. So we got an 8 thousandths off that side, 8 thousandths off that side, and it looks good, cleaned up. So we're about done with this guy. We just got to get it cleaned up and then get it out of the machine. I can go in here with my machinist square and actually verify that we're visually spot on our 90 degree with our 45 and 45. If I bring this in there and I hold it down. Okay, come on. I'm just trying to get it touched in there. So I'm holding it down there, flat of course, and then visually it looks like it's just perfect all the way across there. So we're good on our 90 degree. Well, this job is about to come to an end here. Let's go ahead and get it out of the shaper. It's got the studs in there so we can just pick it straight up. Pull it up off the table there. Yeah, lots of chips there. Just have to take it and I'm actually going to take it back there to the smart washer and wash it real good. Get all the oil off, get all the chips out of it, and then we will be DUN. I had mentioned before about this fixture plate that I made. This is something that I will hold on to. I'll keep it oiled down and over here probably by the shaper underneath the cabinet here. And you never know, down the road there may be something else that comes in where we can use it again, modify it, drill some holes in it, drill and tap some holes in it. You know, there might be something that you can you know, bolt this down to the table, and then say like this thing over here, you got this flange. You could come in here and drill and tap you a hole pattern so that you could take something like this and bolt it down to it to hold it in the shaper, versus setting it down and trying to put toe clamps on it and that kind of stuff. Yeah, lots of chips. All right, let me get everything washed off here. Well, there we go. We finished up. I just finished washing it and then rinsing it off, making sure we got all of our cleaner off of it there. So all of our machine faces are now done. We got our thermostat face there. You got the intake side there for the intake plenum, and then you've got the two faces that's going to match up to your cylinder heads that are now cut. So I did find out this is for a 5-liter Ford Mustang, and Phil was telling me that this is a I believe it was a trick flow. This is a copy of a trick flow. I know y'all have already seen the made in China right there. So it's not something, I don't believe it's something that Phil himself buys for a project that he's working on. This is the kind of stuff that his customers buy, and then they bring him a project and he's doing these builds, and then he has to put their parts on there, and then run into issues like this where you can't get things to seal up whenever you're building the engine. So he comes to me and asks me, can I help him get this stuff done? And he understands that jobs like this take a lot of time to do, even though you're probably putting more money into the part than what you buy it for. He's okay with that. You know, he's one of those guys that understands, and me and him talk this stuff out, and he's aware of it before he ever leaves here, that it's going to take some time to do this. Now, as I've said before, that's not necessarily, that doesn't mean that I'm going to charge him every single minute that I got into it, you know, building that fixture plate and providing the content here for the channel. So I usually cut him a break on stuff like this, you know, because I enjoy the projects, and I enjoy filming it and sharing it with everybody and getting it to run the shaper and using it for things like this. So I'm real happy with it. I think it turned out good, and he's just happy that he's going to be able to get this thing bolted on, and it should seal. He says that both of the heads were leaking. You saw the you know, the flatness. It was not flat. It was you know, out on each side, and especially this was the main culprit, this guy right here, because it was so bad. They said no matter what they did, they couldn't get the water stop flowing out of that right there using your gaskets and all. So the let me show you this. I told him on this right here that I think this is fine. You know, this is what bolts onto the top of the intake right there, but I've checked it a couple of times. I've got this really nice scale that's good and true, and when I put that on there, it looks good. I don't see any reason to machine that, and I've also checked this flange face right here, and it looks fine to me. I don't see any reason that this shouldn't work. So what I told him to do is just go ahead and, you know, take this back, get everything bolted on there, and see if this works. That way I'm not spending a bunch of time on something that doesn't need to be done. The main thing was just this intake right here. All right, so we are done, guys. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and let Phil know that he is ready to come and get his parts. And maybe by the time I'll see if I can get a photo of this being installed in the car or whatever, you know. I'll ask him. So if I got that, I'll throw it up in the video for you to see right there. And if not, I don't have a picture. So hope you guys enjoyed the project, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, later.